So how does a guy knows anything about the nanny business? Easy. Same way as how James Bond knows about childcare. With style, improvisation, and a license to pacify. This is ME-SSION IGNITE. No bullshit business. Hi, welcome to another episode of ME-SSION IGNITE. Here, we uncover the no bullshit stories from successful individuals and ignite your dreams to success. Today's guest is someone who saw a gap in how we support our little ones and their mothers and build a brand that's redefining early childhood wellness in Singapore. From humble beginnings to founding New Bubs, a platform dedicated and nurturing the physical and developmental milestones of babies and their mothers, Lloyd turned a vision into reality. But this journey wasn't all smooth like a baby bump. Along the way, Lloyd faced some serious challenges, battled moments of doubt, and had to rebuild from some tough setback. So let's hear his story and welcome Lloyd from New Bubs.
Hi, Tillyson.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Why don't you introduce yourself, right, to our audience out there, who you are?
My name is Lloyd, and I'm the founder of New Bubs Confinement. I am a father of a 3-year-old son, and I founded this company about 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so what is this company all about?
So we provide postnatal care services to our clients, and our clients are all pregnant mothers. So after they give birth, they needed additional support to help them transition into motherhood, teach them how to, or become a mother. So we provide the service, live-in nanny for them to help them transition into this journey.
So it's a confinement center and after that transition to like new parents, taking care of kids, is that right?
So basically, after you deliver, you come home from the hospital.
Yes.
And then we would provide a nanny to your home.
Okay.
Yeah, that nanny that comes to your place is not just any domestic helper, but this nanny is trained with the proper skill set to help you take care of your baby,
right?
And also equipped with the knowledge to impart to you to become a parent
So I'm very curious because I think when you talk about that, you talk about just now newborns, you talk about helping mothers transit into a motherhood life.
Yeah.
But you're a father, right? You're a guy, right? Not to be sexist, but you're a guy.
Yeah.
What do you know about motherhood, the pain that they're going through, the painful hours of labor, right? And what got into this business?
So fortunately, I was quite hands-on with the whole pregnancy and becoming a father journey. And I was the person that went to source for all the nannies, went to research, and try to find a suitable nanny for my wife So then I had the first-hand experience of how is it like. I recognized that being a mother, being pregnant, carrying the baby for 9 months is really not easy. I'm not sure if you're a father yourself. Are you?
I'm not. I'm hoping to soon, maybe. Yeah, but at this time, this podcast or recording, no, I'm not yet.
So I'm planting the seed on you first. So, becoming a parent, in that whole equation, a father and a mother, it's a partnership. So while my wife does the heavy lifting, I need to do some work. So the things that I can do, I would try to come in and help.
Right.
So one thing is helping to source for the nanny for her.
I see.
Finding the massage services for her. All these services that I deem that is needed. I went to source for it.
Right. Yeah, so to some tips to all the new fathers out there, right? You guys have to work as a team,
It is,
yeah. The mother is gonna bear that kid for 9 months, you guys as dad gotta do something about it, right? Help them ease the pain.
Yeah.
So I'm curious here, but what inspired you to step into this industry itself? Because I think you say that you are sourcing for it, right? As a new dad and all. What was the gap that you saw and decided to step into this?
I think the reason why I started this business, it was because I benefited from this service. I think usually when people start the business is because like they hated something about it and they wanted to change the world or the concept like that, right? But for me, it was I benefited from this solution.
Ah.
Why so? I think a lot of parents, young couples can resonate with our journey is that firstly, we are a dual income family, meaning myself and my wife are both working.
Right.
So what this means is when I go back to work, my wife goes back to work, then someone has to still look after the kid lah. So one is dual income, and secondly, it's our parents are yet to retire. So then this translates to us having a very weak support system at home.
I see.
I think it's very different from the past 20, 30 years, like our parents' era, right? When someone gives birth, the whole kampong come down to help, right? But nowadays, families are getting smaller and smaller. The support system also getting lesser and lesser, right? So then we were in that situation. So then what happened was when my wife delivered, we both become a parent. Then we realized that there isn't much help at home. So then we had a nanny to come down, right? We really engaged one, right? So the nanny came down, and usually in Singapore, the service period is 28 days.
Right.
So 28 days, my wife just barely recovered. Just gave birth to the baby. The body just trying to bounce back. We haven't even yet adjust into becoming a parent.
Yeah.
So then when the nanny left, it's just the two of us, our parents working, and then I also have to go back to work. So left with my wife alone, right?
Yes.
Then she's alone, and then yet lost, baby is crying, non-stop. Then what do we do? So we started to kind of fluster and struggle to take care of my son back then. So then we decided that it is enough lah. We really needed that help at home.
Yeah.
So then I went to source for another nanny, and then a new nanny came in for 2 more months.
Right.
So in total, our parenthood journey for the first 3 months, it was augmented support. Someone came in to help, and then all the way until my wife had to return back to maternity leave. Then the natural progression, my son need to go for infant care and things like that lah.
Right.
So throughout, it was us trying to find that additional support at home lor. And hence I benefited from having this augmented support. Then I saw that there is this need in the market lah. And happened to be nearby our friends, of the same age, and are also looking for a confinement nanny. And that was when I decided, maybe I give it a shot lah. So when I decided, okay, I want to do this. Actually, I was still in a bank.
Right.
Yeah. Then when I was still in a bank and I had this idea, I took it quite simply. So first is try to solve that demand.
Okay.
No, first is try to find that demand.
Okay.
So when I find that demand, it was nearby friends when they do gender review. Like on IG, they say,
Yes.
congratulations, I have a baby, right? So those are friends, and I approach them. I IG message them and say, I've got a nanny service.
Would you be keen?
Yeah, would you be keen? Yeah. So then when the demand came in, then I started really got some requirements. There's this need in the market. So then I started to source for nanny and create my own pool. Yeah, so that's kind of how it started lah.
Right, so I'm curious, you did mention just at the start, normally nanny is about 28 days.
Yeah.
Right? So what is the recommended based on your experience? Is it 3 months or 2 months? Because I think for you is you had 1 month, then you extended another nanny for 2 more months.
Yeah.
So based on your experience, recommended time frame for any new parents?
I would say the sweet spot is about 1.5 months, which is usually 40 days.
Okay.
So we usually look at it as the first 28 days, it's the first 2 weeks is mainly recovery.
Okay.
So the mom, they need the right nutrition, they need to rest a lot. So during these 2 weeks is really like survival phase, trying to get back.
Trying to tune in the new phase of life.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So then the 3rd to 4th week, it's nourishment. So now that you're more settled, right?
Yes.
Then we give you more pu. So you get even more nutrition,
right?
Bounce back on getting more iron, getting calcium, getting all the vitamins back into your body.
Okay.
And then after that, your body is ready, right? Then comes the adjustment phase. So then you have about 2 more weeks.
Okay.
With that nanny around to guide you and then impart the knowledge to you.
And adjust into full motherhood.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, that's actually very interesting. Right. So I'm curious again, right? For you, what's most, I don't know, I'm unsure, right, on your staff, right? Are they Singaporeans, Malaysians? Where do you find such people of such high quality?
So the nannies, they are all Malaysians. Yeah, so we have a training center in Malaysia where we source for nannies
Okay.
all over the state. So
wow.
it could be from Ipoh, it could be from KL, JB, all sorts of places. We bring them in. And then when they come in, we train them and deploy them for work lah.
Well, okay. So you source your nannies from Malaysia and then bring them into Singapore, right? But the things like the work pass and all these things, isn't it a hard hurdle?
It's something that we do day to day basis lah. But I think it's helpful that the government has streamlined this whole visa, this work permit process. So it's actually quite simple to get it approved.
Right.
The key thing it's not just finding a person who can take care of the baby, but someone who is capable and has the right attitude to live with a family for 28 or 40 days lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to give you more details, right? We start from the sourcing process lah. So the sourcing process usually when we go out is really the top of the funnel, right? We get all sorts of people to come in, and then there's an interview process. So the interview process is usually virtual because they are like all over the place, right?
Yes.
We do a virtual interview and we usually ask situational based questions. We put them through situation, put them in a spot to see how they respond.
Okay.
The purpose of this is to kind of dig deeper into that person to see, how they manage conflicts and
not faking it lah.
Yeah, and not faking it. So, like for example, I would ask the nanny, okay, if today it's day 5 of the baby is five days old and the jaundice level is maybe 230, what would you do? Or I would say, okay, this family structure, it's there's the father and mother, and then there's a mother-in-law.
Right.
Okay, and then the mother-in-law asks you to do this, do that, which is not within your job scope. How would you respond?
Very
so
interesting.
then we see how they respond, and then try to pick out certain traits of them. Yeah.
So after going there, is there further training and all?
Yeah, so then they come to our training center where we impart knowledge to them. So the theoretical part is usually only 3 days. We don't need a very in-depth one because the people that comes in from the beginning, they are already of a certain experience.
I see.
They have worked at confinement centers in Malaysia before, or they have some sort of experience taking care of infants lah.
Okay.
So when they come in, it's more like providing evidence-based knowledge to them.
Enhance their skill set, more structured course and everything.
Yeah. So we teach them things like breastfeeding, baby care, medical first aid things. When they are more aware already, then we come to the second phase of that training program, which is an internship. So the internship, it's 7 days. It's real life situation. They take care of babies.
Very interesting. Nannies still got internship one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we put them through real life situation, right? Then the real character comes out. Just now, even when I ask questions like, how would we deal with mother-in-law, they can have model answers.
Yes.
Yeah, very easy to fake, right? But when you put them in those kind of practical situation, they start to fluster, right? Don't know what to do. Then the character starts to come out.
Yes.
Yeah, so we deliberately have such a arduous and stringent process, right? To really sieve out the people that is like not within our company values lah.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. So
only then when they pass this whole program, then we feel confident that we can assign them for jobs in Singapore lah.
Yeah, I see. Also, ladies and gentlemen, right, if you can hear, right, from Lloyd itself, right, that's how intensive the selection program is, right, and that's how good, right, their nannies are.
It's
right?
like more like BMT. It's like BMT.
Yeah, I think it's way more than BMT. It's way advanced courses and things like that. It's pretty much a whole diploma of its own degree. Yeah. So I'm very curious. Just like you did mention, right? You start off this journey, right? Probably 2-3 years ago, right? And before that, you were actually in the bank.
Yeah.
Right. What makes the switch? Because I think bank should be quite a prestige job, right? It should be quite comfortable. And for you, as a family with dual income, you and your wife are still earning. What makes you be daring enough to take the leap of faith and start off this venture?
So my whole banking journey was 7 years. I have had multiple roles before. So I've done sales, I have done product roles, segment roles. So these are more strategic and middle office, more analytical stuff. And then I have kind of done pretty much the roles that I wanted lah. Towards the end of it, I have tried different of these roles really, but I couldn't find that. I start to lose that fulfillment and that purpose.
There's no satisfaction in what you're doing lah.
Yeah. Like awards don't nako, like all those kind of things, like all been there, done that, right?
Yeah, gotten your awards, your recognition and all.
Yeah, but not to say that I know a lot of things lah. But I felt that okay, I have achieved what I wanted to do, and I needed more fulfillment in my life lah. So that went on for quite a while. I would say at least 1-2 years. Then came my son.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when my son was born, I felt that the whole parenthood journey, becoming a father, changed me quite significantly.
Okay.
In terms of the mindset and the priorities in life lah. So then maybe things when I first started out, things that were important like power, prestige, money, no longer mean that much to me lah. Most importantly is like my son is healthy and I get to spend time with him lah.
Yeah.
So it was like against that backdrop that I felt that I wanted to try something new. So, but not to say that coming out was very difficult, because I had almost a year of part-timing.
Okay.
Obviously it's legal lah. Like I've sought the right approval, because
so
by right,
not moonlighting.
Yeah, so by right in bank cannot moonlight ma,
Yes,
but it was through a proper approval process.
Yeah.
So during which my daytime I was working my bank job.
Yes.
Still trying to gun my numbers, no issues with that. Then at night I tried to build this business. So when I first started that 1 year, I did everything on like marketing. I did myself. Every customer I called myself. Every nannies I interviewed myself. And it has grown to a more stable level. Then I decided to come out and try to do this for good lah.
Right. Yeah. And how much have the company evolved since then?
So when we first started, I only had 2 to 3 nannies, and we kind of rotate. And when we first started, we are honestly just a matching company. Means you need a nanny, I got a nanny, I match.
Okay.
No value add on. But along the way, as we grow, we started to have we want to more really control the quality. Then we started to have training centers. We partners with like confinement centers and things like that to elevate our quality assurance.
Yeah.
So then when we first started, it was just 2 to 3 nannies. Now on hand, we have about 40 to 50 nannies.
Wow.
And these nanny are people that we could agree on that we pass, then they can join us.
Also high standard.
Yeah, so it's not like no longer a matching company, because we have like 加工 really, like added value one.
Yeah.
They go to training, go to like internship and things like that lah. So I think over the 2.5 years, I could really quite appreciate the growth that we had in this journey lah.
Yeah. So as you start off, what was the difficulties that you were facing? Well, I think you said you're doing everything, right, as own. There are certain roadblocks I'm sure that you face, right? What are those?
That I am not good at anything.
What do you mean?
If let's say, because as a business owner, you really have to cover every grounds, right?
Okay.
Like I said, like sales, marketing, or ops and all those things, right? The only thing that I've really felt comfortable in was just doing sales. So when I call customer, I have no issues like converting them one.
Okay.
But when it comes to the marketing side of things, like the designing, the whole creative part, it is like totally not my forte.
Right.
Yeah, so initially I tried to do my own IG post, then I post out, wow, very ugly. Even I go back and see now, I also feel a bit paiseh, feel like deleting the post.
But you shouldn't. Those are like hard work, man.
Yeah, I think those are like how we have grown. Yeah. So I guess then it was a journey of discovery what am I good at and what am I not good at, and then I work towards my strengths, and then I find people who can complement the team lah.
So that is you starting off, right? You're saying that you don't know anything, trying to work out your strengths and to the fullest, right? But I'm curious because you are based in Singapore. How do you find partners in Malaysia, right? And furthermore, you say that find training centers, recruitment centers in a way. How do you manage to even engage them? What was your value to them for you to even be a partner to them?
So it was really an opportunity lah that I saw, because when the nanny came in for interviews, I saw that a lot of them gave this certificate. And then I start to see some similarity. And then I traced back and I realized it was this particular company that was providing that training. So I went online to find, and then I just kind of cold call them and approach them for a partnership.
Oh, so it's a cold call approach.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they don't know me, I don't know them to begin with. And there was no one who like matchmake us on, no connections on. So when I went to research, they do have it was really their certificate that they do, and I went down to Malaysia and find them lor.
Wow.
Yeah, then talk to them about the curriculum, see their training centers, how they train people, who are their trainers, what are their certificates, what are their accreditation, and when I feel comfortable, then we went in to sign a partnership lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm curious here again because I think number one, right? I think most of the time, or rather in this time and age, I realized that for confinement nannies and all, they are of a certain age, right?
Yeah.
So two questions here. Number one is, do you think that it's a cause of concern because the younger ones are not keen to take up? That's number one. Number two, is it tough to manage staff of a higher age or of an older age in this case?
I think the age is definitely one of a concern. Not just for me to manage them, but also for our clients. I manage them from a company level. There's a certain way.
Yeah.
But when they go over to our client's place, the client also has to manage them.
Yes.
Right? So then we have clients who say, oh, I don't want a nanny who is not, I don't want a nanny who is too old. Then we ask, what's your too old? Okay, 50s, it's okay. Yeah, so generally our nannies are usually around that range.
Okay.
So one of the concerns comes from the client lah. We will try to educate them that usually the age is a number, but what matters behind that is first her energy.
Yes.
Because it's a day and night job.
It's almost a 24 hours.
It's a 24
every 2
job.
hours, baby wake up, feed.
Exactly. Then energy is one, and secondly, generation gap lah. Maybe they feel that the older people, the thinking is different, so cannot vibe with the
younger one,
the younger
right?
generation. So they have this concern lah. So then how do we assure them that, okay, despite her not being of a within your age range, maybe like they are 60s, but yet those two things is met. Like the attitude, it's like in sync with younger couples, and she has the energy lah. So that part we also would manage the nannies lah, manage our clients.
Right.
Yeah. Then your second question regarding like us managing the nanny, right? So at the onset, I was the person who managed them. Okay, at this present moment, I have a team to do it. Yeah, but the team also came through multiple milestones and revolution before we come to this lah. So at the onset, when I was managing them, it was I would say quite transactional relationship. They need a job, so they need me ma.
Yes.
So they will come to me and be nice and you know, hopefully I can assign them a job lah. So there usually isn't much problem. Then when we start to scale, I cannot manage all this nanny, then do marketing, do sales and everything, right? So that I need to hire someone to do this.
Right.
So that's when I hired a person whom it was around our age range lah. Then I started to see, not so easy, because the nannies, I mean, we have 40 to 50 of them, right?
Yes.
Everyone got different pattern one.
Yes.
Right, some are very nice, some will like try to step over your head.
Yeah.
So then the person needs to be able to
adjust along the way.
Yeah, adjust accordingly to all these different kind of personality,
Yes.
and at the end of the day achieve the results that we wanted lah.
Yeah.
So then it was quite difficult, and then we went through a few rounds of people before we get to this current team where it is a lot more stable and we could grow the company size lah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that said, I'm curious. What to say? I think from what I'm hearing from you, people management, right, in your case is the hardest.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, people management is your asset as well. Are there any point in time, right, that I ever thought of pivoting out from people management and create new services and products?
Have all the time. Even now today, like this morning, we were thinking of new things to do. But I think that's a virtue of a company, a startup. You need to constantly evolve lah. Yeah. People management, because we are managing both sides,
Yeah.
like a lot of nanny,
clients
a lot of
and the
clients,
nanny, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then the client would want this certain profile, and the nanny also can选client one.
Yes, correct.
Right? So then it is at the end of the day try to match two different
The best of
two
both
strangers
worlds. Yeah.
together into a household to live merrily for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Yeah, so it's honestly difficult. Even till today, we find new challenges that arises all the time from this matching service. Then
Any horror stories?
horror stories, I wouldn't. Again, like there's no fault of anyone. Firstly, we need to understand.
It's okay, you can mask out the names, we're okay perfectly
I won't say
fine.
any. I don't need lah. Yeah.
Those are just tea and juice that we are curious about the industry.
I'll be fair. I will say both sides.
Okay.
So for the nanny side, we, like I said, we have went through rounds, right? Like the first time we were just matching. So during interview process, they will say until like, wow,
They're the best.
they're the best. Only I trained from this, I got this kind of certificate, right?
Yeah.
Then when it goes to our client base place, then all the complaints starts to come out.
Right.
Yeah. Then when complaints starts to come out, we need to ascertain whether is it factual or not, whether is it the nanny's fault or not.
Yes.
Okay. Usually we understand, we give the client benefit of doubt. Another nanny comes in, and then another comes in. Wow, perfect already.
Yes.
No issue. Then it's likely the problem of the first month. Then we went to dig deeper. Then we realized that actually she has always been like this. I even had a nanny who borrowed money from clients before.
Oh, wow.
Had gambling problems, and
Right.
then borrowed money from the clients. And then the client came telling us.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a learning process for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you dismiss such
Dismiss
truths?
immediately. Yeah, because I mean, if the person has a gambling problem, it is not going to change.
Yes.
While this is her personal life, but I do not condone this kind of problem that you bring into the family lah. If
Yeah.
you gamble and then it stops there, it's okay. But then when you start borrowing money from the clients, it's a hard no for us lah. So immediately the nanny was terminated.
Right. So
Yeah.
I should have asked you this from the very, very start, right? What is the values of the company actually?
3. So the first one is integrity. So this is at the top, which we always tell a nanny is to do the right thing even when no one is looking. Because the truth is they are dealing with really fragile beings lah, like babies, right? If the client is not looking or what, then you assume that you are in a very safe place, you can do nasty things.
Right.
Then it's really not something that we would allow lah. So integrity is our top priority. And secondly is also as a company, we want to put customer first. So the services that we put out, the features that we have must benefit the client over the profits of the company lah.
Right.
So that is second. And third, it's quality service law. Because we believe that only when we provide the quality and clients like us, then they will spread the words.
Yeah. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, right? If you're looking for a quality nanny, right, this is the place, right? It does share with the values and all the stories, right? What's else that you're looking for, man? Yeah. So now I'm going to remove you out of the company. I want to talk about you yourself right now, right? Because I think we talked about your journey, 7 years in the bank, right? Transiting over here, right? At this point in time, or rather for you, reflect in the last 2 years or so, have you thought of giving up? Or say that actually this is not the place that I should be at, I should be doing something else?
I have. I often tell my wife, right, that if I don't need to do this, I can just go back to the bank or
do something more comfortable with,
do
right?
something more comfortable. Then corporate life, 9 to 6, pang kang already, go back do my own things. Then earn a decent salary. Yeah, I have this thought all the time.
So what makes you continue to hold on every day?
It's the potential that I still see in this industry. I feel there's a lot more that we can do and change. And we definitely have not reached the sweet spot.
Right.
The growth that we wanted. And personally, I'm someone who is very objective driven. Only when I reach a certain goal, then I would okay, done that. Right? So I've not reached that. So I would not give up on this journey. Yeah.
So on that note, right, also I think you mentioned your wife a couple of times, right? Of course, then again, this is a father and mother job kind of a thing, an industry kind of thing. How supportive was your family when you embark into this business?
When we needed so you're talking about from the business perspective, lah.
On you actually. Yeah, how supportive were you, right, embarking on a business that you could have been very comfortable working in a bank?
They had no objections, honestly. Like they were very supportive. Like, okay, just go and do it, lor. If they needed help, or if I needed help, if our family needed help, they would gladly support, lah. So obviously before I came out to do, I told them about it, and they were supportive. And my wife was, she knows that when my mind is set onto something, I will have to do it on, lah. So then she just let me go ahead, lah.
Very understanding wife, ladies.
Yeah. So I'm thankful, lah. Like I have the support at home, and my wife, she holds a employed job, lah. So that brings the stability in our family. Yeah, while I go out and chiong, lah.
Right. So when you talk about stability, right, because you've been through both spectrum, right? I don't want to hear from you. Which do you prefer?
Definitely what I'm doing now, lah. Yeah, because I know I have a purpose. Firstly, I chart out my own purpose, right? Rather than being in a corporate, people tell you what to do, you just go and do, right? So firstly, I chart out my purpose, and then I chart out my own plans to achieve this objective that I set out to do.
Right.
And in my own ways. So I love the flexibility that comes with it in terms of the decision making ability. Whereas in a corporate, one of the reasons why I've kind of felt jaded is because every time when you do something and then you'll feel a roadblock, a very simple initiative, we need to ask like everyone in a bank from different departments, only when they say yes, then we can do it. Right? But the bank is like this because we are a highly regulated place.
Yes.
So it has to be that structured, which I understand. Yeah. But because having to, ask for so many levels of approval all the time, and then at every almost, there's a very high probability that there will be someone who tell you, hey, cannot do.
You can't do it. Yeah.
Then then you need to find a way to overcome that, lah.
Right.
So I guess it was because of this whole red tapes, all these kind of regulations that bounce the ability to push certain things. Just make me feel a bit sian, lah. Yeah, I decided to entrepreneurship.
Pivot out.
Yeah, quite fun, lah.
Very interesting. Yeah. So my next question to you is, I think you talk about having satisfaction doing in the corporate satisfaction in the entrepreneurship side of life, right? And I'm sure that in the start there's definitely a lot of downs, which just we touched about. Now, at which point during your whole entrepreneurship that you think that it was a turning point and you thought that, okay, this is correct and it's good to continue on? Because most people will have done entrepreneurship, a startup, and will have given up some point in life. At which point did you realize that this is right?
When I got a very strong team, I think getting the team, it was, I would say, one of the pitfall in our growth. Initially, when I came out, we started to grow. I needed people to come in. So then, just hire. I thought it's just hiring someone, fill the gap, call the customer call team.
Yes.
Someone come in, manage the nanny.
Done, and that's it.
Done
Yeah,
already.
done the job scope.
But obviously HR, the whole element, back then it was not that important, but actually it is extremely important. So I also learned how to manage people and the different types of personalities. So handling nannies is one manner, because again, it's at the end of the day, still quite transactional. You needed a job,
And they will just do whatever is required.
But our core team is very different, because they are the element, the really core element of the company, right? So how do we motivate them to really perform their job, create accountability? That was the hardest part. So initially, I didn't know how to do all those things. And when I come in, then the whole processes, even though I have like very sound processes, I tell them, okay, step 1 to step 10, you just go and do it, right? Cannot do. Then when people start to leave, then I start to question, what's so hard? Like I already tell you step 1 to step 10 already. Why can't you just follow?
Kind of follow step by step, right?
Then one after another started to leave. Then I thought, nowadays young people cannot do their work.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was only after a few rounds, then I started to reflect on myself, right? Then I realized actually it's little fault of their own. It was mainly me.
Okay.
Because
on what aspect?
So I felt that as a director, as a CEO of the company, the important role that you should do is paint the vision of the company for everyone to follow. But back then, when I first started out, I just wanted to do a lot of things. And when I have all these big ideas, this dream that I want, I didn't also articulate to them.
Right.
So then for them, if they don't know what they're doing, they just do law.
Yes.
They
don't understand the purpose behind it.
Exactly. So it was through this whole understanding, then I realized how important this role is. So I think it kind of see that transition. Back then, I was like the jack of all trades, right? I need to do everything.
Yeah.
And then now I have people running it, and I'm a CEO. My role is very different, right? Instead of me doing all those things, my role is to firstly chart out the vision and the roadmap for the company.
Yep.
Then being able to translate all this to meaningful ways for them to understand. And then when they understand, they are motivated and they know what to do.
Yeah.
So only when the staff, they are motivated on what they are supposed to achieve, then they would hold accountability on the work that they're supposed to do. So I feel that is the part that it was missing for me at the early stage. And I learned it. The outcome of this was, when I reflected, really my problem. The first thing that I went to do is really I sat down and I chart out our 3 years plan and our vision for the company.
Right.
And in a very detailed document, what is our vision? What is our company culture? What is our org chart in 3 years' time? And in this company, 3 years, where are we now? Where do you want to be in this 3 years plan?
Right.
They come and tell me, and then we work towards a plan to get there. Then with this document, it become our company guidebook,
SOP kind of thing.
Correct. Then from then on, they started to build their own accountability. They, instead of me telling them you need to do step 1 to step 10, they will tell me, okay, now we have this problem. This is my solution.
Yeah.
I need to do 11 to 20. Then my job is to help them find whether, okay, these 11 to 20, are there any things that you're missing out? Or from a strategic level, you are on the wrong direction. I would direct you in the right way.
Right.
So it's very different from me, back then having to chart out 1 to 10 for them. Now it's like they own self will come back and tell us the plan.
Wow, that's very interesting. Right. On the human factor aspect again, right? I'm curious. Do you bring in any mentor, ask any mentorship, right? For you to chart this whole entrepreneurship, because I think you did mention that there's a lot of gaps that you do not know, right? Did any mentors that you actually seek help from?
Many. I am fortunate that I think the business culture in Singapore, it is quite friendly. Unlike, I think the other countries is quite cutthroat one. I mean, I've seen in other regions before, it's when you go out to do partnership with people, it's like shucks, look, trying to bite you in. But I think in Singapore, we are generally still in quite a safe environment. So I would say we are quite fortunate there. And we, as business owners, we kind of know each other's pain, and I have a group of friends who also run their own businesses, and we spar ideas all the time, and we share our problems all the time. And it was also through all these talks that I learned all these kind of things that I needed to do lah. And in this group of people, there are people who are just started out. There are people who are extremely experienced, 10, 20 years in the whole business world. So the different levels of experience, I was able to benefit from it and distill it down.
Pick and all the relevant
the good ones, the relevant ones to come in.
Wow, that's very interesting. So ladies and gentlemen, there you go, right? How important mentorship is, right? And then how you can actually use it, right? So right, I'm going to go on to our next segment, right? The Enzo segment. So we take a break from here, right? I'll see you in a short while. Welcome back to the special Enzo segment, right? So in case you guys are wondering what this whole segment is all about, is that over here at Mission, we actually develop a deck of cards, right? And this deck of cards, right, they are questions from Act 1 to Act 4, right? That actually helps you, or anyone, in this case, with me, with Lloyd, right, to understand about him or her thinking of his entrepreneurial journey, all right, or anything that you want to find out from him, right? So the questions are quite a fair bit of questions that I have over here, right? But today I have going to use Act 4 itself, right? And of course, there are many ways to play this, right? What we're going to do is we're going to make it a little more fun. Normally, I will face up to to my guest for them to choose a question. But today, right, let's make it a bit, let's face it down, right? And I would like you to choose two cards, and then from there on, we actually ask questions from 2 cards, all right? Yeah.
There are different types.
Yeah, there are different types. So, but you can't see the questions. Sure.
I'll choose the road back.
All right, the road back. All right, one more.
I guess the return.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let me get this card.
Is it some like magic trick?
Magic trick?
A pigeon.
Oh yeah. I hope so, man. But the magic trick is to get answers out from you, right? So I have 2 cards over here, 2 questions over here. So let me ask the first question, the one that you chose, the road back, right? So the questions in that road back states, how do you maintain your success over time? Yeah, so in case for the audience out there, yeah, how do you maintain your success over time? You want to hold this card so you remember this?
Okay. So I answer this.
You answer this first.
Okay. How did you maintain your success over time? I kind of see it as a continual journey of learning. I think the whole episode, as I reflect back on my journey, it was about learning what have I done wrong. Having that self-awareness that you have done something wrong, and then getting a solution and not making the same mistake.
Right.
So I think that was kind of the wisdom that I have coming with age. Like when you have this experience, you need to know that that you're not a perfect being, and continuously learn how to improve yourself lah.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that's my answer.
Right, great answer. So the second one, right, return with the Excel, right? So it's how do you mentor and support the next generation of leaders?
Oh, I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Exactly. That's the topic that we just ended off with team management, right?
Yeah. I think the first attribute to mentoring, right, it's listening. I think a lot of times, let's say business owners or people who are just starting out, they probably are not seeking for a solution themselves.
Okay.
When we listen, we ask the right question, their own reflection tend to come out lah. Then they start to realize, that there is this problem. So when you listen, you are able to understand what is their problem, right? Then helping them to like crystallize, okay, this is your problem. Okay, that's the first step. So in everything you want to find, even when we do business, what's the problem statement, what's the solution, right? So we settle the first thing, which is the problem statement, and then again helping them to find solution is the same thing, listening and probe the right question, and then their own solution would come out. I'm not an expert in everything. I'm not an expert in parenting. I'm not an expert in like starting a business. I'm not an expert in doing videos like this. But the person that I am mentoring, they are familiar with their own domain.
Yeah.
When you ask the right question, the solution would tend to come out lah. And I think I would love to have the opportunity to mentor young people who are stepping out, not just in business or even their corporate life or being a parent. So in fact, myself, I even when we do those business meetup, I will meet younger business owners. Just yesterday, someone was like sharing with me about their my view on them getting a partner to come into their business. So I didn't offer much, but end up the question that I asked, she answered her own question lah. Yeah, so I would love to do this, and I would also love to join initiative that could help fathers, and also some underprivileged families lah, and give them the mentorship, and I guess mentoring them to become a better father than they are yesterday lah. Yeah, so I do join such initiatives on a personal level lah, actually.
Wow. Wow, thank you very much, Lloyd. Yeah, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen, right? In fact, I just asked no questions, I just showed the card, and there you have Lloyd answering all the questions, and that's how you use the Enzo segment. Welcome back, everybody. Right, so we talked a lot about your journey, right? But now I'm going to bring you back to the past, right? If you are back when you are 20 years old, even before the bank job, right? What would we have done differently?
Nothing. I felt all this experience, it shapes me to who I am today, regardless like what wrong mistakes I've done in the past. I don't see the need in changing it lah. Yeah, so I'll remain status quo.
So the thing is that I think in today's time and age, many of the young ones, the early 20s, 19s even, right? Some even the mid-20s, they're actually unsure about their life, right? They might not know what they want to do, right? What's your views on that?
I personally also went through that life stage of not knowing what to do. And it's a normal part of growing up, really. Even when we used to study, in poly, in uni, how many of us actually ended up in the same job? But that's just a life that you really have to experience. You go in, okay, maybe I study banking, then I realize I don't like banking. Then you come out, you try some other role. So it's really a trial and error. And if, let's say, you don't try it, then you will never know whether you like it or not.
Right.
So I think without having to worry too much, right, the first thing that you have this thing, it's to really just execute what you want to do, and then you will experience it yourself lah.
Yeah. When you say execute what you want to do, then you have to experience it yourself, right? That's a very bold statement. Right? They must be very daring to do it lah, right? But many people say that they are actually afraid to take the very first step, right? What's your advice to them on that?
Think big, start small. Yeah. So if you say that, okay, my ideal life goal, it's I want to be the top insurance agent in the whole world of Singapore. Okay. Then that is a big dream. Break it down into smaller steps, how you want to achieve it, and then you start doing it. Yeah. So then convert your goals into actionable steps. It will make you easier to step out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'm very curious. Why you started use the word insurance agent?
It just came to my mind. I don't know. Because it's quite a common, when you talk about banking,
Yeah.
it's quite a common job scope lah.
Right,
Yeah,
I
I think
see,
a lot of
I
people aspire to become one.
Yeah.
So if you do, just take the leap of faith and try it lah.
So on here same aspect, right? I think I want to ask you, right, because you've been through a corporate side, you've been through entrepreneurship, right? Are there any different traits should one possess to become successful in these two different worlds?
Different world, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, whichever you are doing, just be good at what you are supposed to do lah.
So that's it, right? What are the 3 traits that you think, right, that in order to be successful, whether it's in a corporate or in entrepreneurship, right, that a person should possess?
Be humble to learn. When you're just starting out, if let's say you have gotten a bit of traction, a bit of success, don't think too big that you are really the best of the world.
Right.
Be humble because there's really so much things that you ought to learn lah.
Right.
So when you're young, really just be humble and absorb like a sponge lah. Then also be curious, ask the right questions, find the right mentor, follow the right people, and instill, kind of distill the knowledge from this kind of mentor and the wisdom, and this will really help you lah.
Right.
And lastly, it's be righteous lah. Learning all those things again. Once you've gotten some traction, just do the right thing even when no one is looking lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a question that you guys might be thinking of, right, as you're watching Lloyd explaining some of these things is, what is a right mentor? What is a right questions? Well, you did mention that a couple of times. So what is a right mentor to you?
Right mentor is one who would know the different personality of different people. So I think as a mentor, what you would imagine if your job is a mentor lah. Let's say you have 10 people that come to you. There will be 10 people who are of different personality, different risk profile, different dream, different goals.
Yes.
So the job of the mentor is not to fit a one-size model into all 10 of them.
Right.
Right? It's to be able to find that dream in that person and then help him get to what he wants to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the role of the mentor is to be able to, differentiate different people and help them get there lah. Yeah.
And what about right questions? How do you determine that the questions is right?
As a mentor or as a
mentee?
I mean, the motherhood statement is there's no wrong answer. But I think when a mentee wants to learn from someone, if I will make it in a simple terms, it's when you go into the heart, like being heartful and really genuinely want to learn, right? It's really not just the success of that person, but the downfall of the person. Be able to ask about the downfall also takes certain courage lah. Especially if let's say I'm talking to, let's say, a CEO of DBS Bank, right? What if he is not willing to share about his downfall, right? But I think if let's say the intention is to learn about that person's journey, right? Learning about the downfall is the most important lah. So if let's say I'm a mentor, I would be perfectly fine if that person wants to ask very personal questions. Yeah. And when you ask those personal questions, you tackle the emotions of that mentor.
Right.
You will learn something lah. Yeah.
So there you go, right? For you guys out there, there's no such thing as a wrong questions, right? I think what's most important is what Lloyd mentioned, right, is be daring and ask the questions as long as those questions are from the heart, right? And you're willing and daring to ask those questions, ask it, right? And you will get your answers, right? And you will learn from that.
Yeah.
Right. So back to the topic, right? On mentorship and all, comes to another very interesting topic, which is networking.
Oh, okay.
How important is networking?
Oh, I am where I am today. Parts of it is due to networking, knowing the right people, and being able to collaborate with the people of the same ideology. And if let's say I will just be in my office every day, right, I will not be able to achieve this, because the truth is we are not an extremely huge company, right? And for us to really grow, we need partnership. We need people who can help us ride the storm together.
Right.
And it is important to find collaborations, partners out there lah. And my job in this company actually is really networking and find collaborators to achieve our goals lah.
Right.
And it is really, I would say, 60-70% of my time. It's
wow, that's quite a
networking
fair
with
bit of
people.
time.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we talked about past, talked about your journey and all, right? I want to ask about the future, right? On two aspects, right? What do you think is the future of your industry?
Integrated care.
What's that?
My view is that the industry is extremely fragmented. I shared with you the profile of young couples lah, like dual income. Imagine most of them, they are in a very normal society. In our society, they go through secondary school, go to poly, JC, go to uni. In an education system, people feed you information.
Right.
Then after that, you go to corporate world. In the corporate world, usually it's very structured one. Because for a company to scale to that level, right, you must have a certain level of structure.
Yes.
So you come in, people train you, okay, do this, gao tim, then you perform. So this whole life, right, they have very minimal decision making opportunities.
Yes.
Right? So then suddenly becoming a parent, oh, my wife is pregnant. Then you realize that you need to research where's the best gynae, best confinement nanny agency, massage lah, what kind of products you need to do lah, go and research all these considerations. And all these are decisions to be made.
Right.
And it will impact something.
Yes.
And you have to make this decision within the 6 to 9 months period of your pregnancy. Right? Suddenly from no decision, suddenly you make a lot of decisions.
Yes.
So then it increases the mental load of the young couples to be.
Okay.
And then I say it's fragmented because all this industry, they kind of work in silo. Like even myself, as a confinement nanny, I provide a core business confinement nanny, and then we have massage services, postnatal massage services. We also run classes. All these are kind of all different places.
Yeah.
Coupled with the medical side of things, whereby this kind of service provider, we work within our own sphere.
Yes.
And then there's the medical industry working within their sphere also. So my vision is to be able to integrate all these things into one. And what this translates to the client is lesser decision to be made, lesser mental load, less overwhelmed.
Full suite of services given to them. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So next question here is the future of new bulbs, right? Towards this new industry, or rather this new future industry that you actually projected and predicted, right? When do you hope to have new bulbs reach there?
In 2 years' time.
Wow, that's quite soon. Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Like I said, I've been networking, right?
Yeah.
So to achieve this, I don't assume this as my own role and responsibility. I need to find the right people that would do this together.
Right.
Yeah. So finding the right collaborator, it's the way to achieve this goal.
Yeah. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, right? Watch, right? And see how new bulbs is going to transform in the next 2 years or 3 years. I think it's going to be quite fantastic to see everything in such a integrated service.
Yeah.
Right? I think for new bulbs to grow from 2-3 years ago to like 3-4 nannies to where you are now, 40 or 50 nannies, it's a wow achievement, right? And with our new products and services, I think this could be another great heights that people will look forward to, man.
I hope so.
And that's by then I think I should be a parent ready.
Oh yeah,
definitely I'll be embarking on a service without doubt.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So anyway, that said, for any guests that come to my show, in this show here, right, I'll actually ask them this question, right, is that if there's one word that you would give to all the young aspiring entrepreneurs out there, what would that one word be and why?
Wow, I'll kind of repeat myself.
It's okay.
One word will be integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah. If let's say we were to go out and find partnerships and collaborations, you want to work with genuine people,
right?
And to find genuine people, you first have to be genuine, Yeah. So then people wants to work with you. Yeah. So I think that's the most important thing.
And all those like people want to eat you up, shucks and all.
Yeah. People can tell one, especially people who are in the Jianghu for so many years, right?
Yes.
They can tell one. So don't be that kind of person.
It just depends on how genuine you're going to be. Right. Yeah. So before we end off this show, right, maybe I'll leave you right to the camera over here, right? Any last parting words or advice that you want to leave to all our viewers out there?
Start a family.
Why?
Because when you start a family, then I got business to do. No, I think being a parent, being a father, it's an amazing journey for me. And I have seen how I have grown over this short period of three over years. And I will not ask for anything less. I will not go back to my previous life without having a kid. So, and why that changed me, it's because something is more important than my life. I mean, a baby. So then I devoted my life to that young one. And that mental state made me mature a lot. And this mature state also helped me a lot in my business, in whatever career that I want to do. So that is my advice: start a family.
Thank you very much, Lloyd. And that's all the time we have with Lloyd, right? So if you have caught it, right, the final advice that Lloyd gave us was to actually start a family. So start a family doesn't mean you can be just literally starting your own family, but in fact, starting the footsteps of your own company, your footsteps of your own journey, whether it's corporate or entrepreneurship. Because I think you are the master of your own lives, right? You guys are the father and the mother of your own lives, right? And in every journey, there's definitely up and down. That's what Lloyd has shared with us, right, in the last hour or so. Right? So hopefully this podcast today, or this session today, right, that we're hearing does ignite your fire within you, right? And hopefully we'll see you in the next episode, right? And light up, right, your insight, values to learn, right? Thank you very much, Lloyd.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi guys, thank you for listening. If you like what you have just heard, follow us for more content like this.